It's a powerful gospel, one we're familiar with, but Jesus told this parable because he has some lessons that he wants us to learn and to practice. So as I read the gospel, what are these lessons? Avoid comparisons. Be real. Trust love. First of all, avoid comparisons. See, the Pharisee thought, if there's one person that I'm better with in the world, it's this guy in the back of the synagogue. Now, the fact is, there are better and there are worse, but that's not the point. There's good reason not to compare myself with others. For one thing, it leads to egotism, vanity, and a distorted sense of myself. If you compare yourself poorly, it leads to vanity and a distorted sense of self. The basis of comparing is judge of other people. And this makes you feel better about yourself, but it implies that you have to feel good about yourself without judging others. Lack of faith in God has given you a purpose. It's impossible. You simply don't know all the facts. Only God knows what is actually going on, and it's not about me. Me. That's why we don't compare. The whole idea of the gospel is that you set yourself aside for something greater. If you can achieve your goals in this lifetime, you have pretty small goals. I am nothing by myself. The man said to the universe, I exist, and the universe says in reply, that does not place in me a sense of responsibility. When I avoid comparison, it enables me to truly focus on others because the subtext is not always me. If you'd like to say with me, I stand as I am before God, not comparing myself with others. I stand as I am before God, not comparing myself with others. Thank you. The second thing is to be real. Now, the word humility comes from a Latin word humus, which means ground. The fact is that we, in many ways, have the greatness of God's, but with clay feet. There are parts of our lives that are broken, fragmented, and imperfect. I have difficulty feeling good about myself because I have unrealistic expectation of what it means to be myself, which comes from a certain dualistic thinking, the tendency of the human mind to automatically put everything in terms of splitting, comparisons, value judgments, us, them, good, bad, right, wrong, and so forth. Abandonment of dualistic thinking connects me to the great humanity and all of creation. It makes me approachable and lovable and actually happier and more successful in life. Now, being real does not mean that you can't judge behavior. It does not mean that you necessarily have to protect others from the consequences of their bad behavior. The natural consequences. If you drive fast and recklessly, you're going to crash. There are social consequences. You might get a ticket, or personal consequences. You can have a teen would have their driving privileges removed. Being real protects us from the hurricanes of games that people play, the tornadoes of lies and deceptions that each of us is assailed by on a daily basis. And being real is characteristic of great people. Being real enables me, for one thing, to have a sense of humor, which is really attractive and is the basis of all self-confidence. I have less to fear. I can't be acknowledged and thrown off a pedestal if I'm not on a pedestal. Being real is not thinking less of yourself. It's thinking about yourself less. If you'd like to, I accept the real me, imperfections and all. I accept the real me, imperfections and all. And thirdly, we trust love. One was justified, one not. Why? The justified declared, made righteous, was in the sight of God. What about the one that was not justified? He thought he could control God by doing all these things. You know, I fast twice a week and give money, and I'm, what a great guy I am. And the reason he did that was to make God love him. First of all, we realize that God's love for me is unconditional. It's hard to understand that I am not made good or loved because of all the good things I do. The good that I do is its own reward, and I'm certainly called to do good, but I am loved unconditionally. Otherwise, I am not punished for my sins, I'm punished by my sins. Jesus is amazing. This parable is a reflection of the three steps of AA. 1, we admitted we were powerless. 2, we came to believe in a power greater than ourselves, can restore us to sanity. And 3, we make a decision to turn our will around and our lives over to the care of God. See, that's exactly what the tax collector did. God, have mercy on me, a sinner. My salvation is throwing my life into the arms of divine mercy, trusting love, knowing this is where my healing comes. Would you like to say after me? I, a sinner, throw myself into the arms of divine mercy. I, a sinner, throw myself into the arms of divine mercy. Golda Meir said, don't be humble, you're not that great. Actually, I disagree with Golda. And Jesus today is showing us how we can attain the greatness of humility. I believe we all have a powerful opportunity in this gospel to do 3 things. Avoid comparisons, be real, and trust love. Avoid comparisons, be real, trust love.